When immigrants set out for a new country, they tend to go to the areas where there are others from the same background. Because of that, some towns and cities will have a higher concentration of one group than that of the average for the state. Illinois has several communities with a larger than average percentage of self-identified Asian residents, so in this video we're taking a look at the 10 cities, towns, and villages with the largest percentage of Asian people. Number 10. Naperville. Illinois has consistently been losing residents for the last decade, but during that same time period, Naperville was one of the cities that went against that trend and gained in population. They went from being the 5th largest city in the state to being the 3rd largest after Chicago and Aurora. The last report listed a population of 148,448, with 1 out of 5 people being born in another country. 19.1% of the population is Asian. Since the Census Bureau doesn't break that down into more specific information, I can't say for sure which country or countries account for the most Asian immigrants in the city, but I do know that the largest employer in Naperville is Edward Hospital and Health Services, and the U.S. in general attracts healthcare workers from the Philippines, China, India, and the Middle East. The rest of the city's demographic makeup is 67.3% white, 5% black, and 5.8% Hispanic. Number 9. Carol Stream. This community is one of just a handful in the country, and the only one in Illinois, that shares a full name with a person. Back in the 1950s, a man by the name of J. Stream was working in construction. He was attempting to build a subdivision in Naperville when he ran into bureaucracy. A clerk for the city told him to build his own town, so he did. He started buying up property in 1957. That same year, his daughter was involved in a car accident and fell into a coma. The doctors advised that she might benefit from some good news, so Mr. Stream decided to name his new town after his daughter Carol. Oddly enough, Carol Stream never lived in Carol Stream. She lived in Wheaton during her childhood and then relocated to Arizona after she recuperated from her accident. She remained there until her death last January. When the village was officially established in 1959, the demographic makeup was almost entirely Caucasian. Today, 57% of the village's 39,203 residents are white. Asian groups represent 19.1% of the population. The remaining demographics are 6.9% black and 15.5% Hispanic. 24.1% of the village's residents are foreign-born. Number 8. Niles. When Niles was first established as a community in the 1820s and 30s, most of the residents were coming from Germany. It was primarily a handful of settlers who were bringing over their extended families. Niles was officially incorporated in 1899 when there were approximately 500 people living there. It wasn't until after World War II that people really started moving to this village. Between 1950 and 1960, the population exploded from 3,500 people to 20,000. In 1961, Niles elected a new mayor who established a free bus service, town hall, and police station along with new jobs. He ran on a platform of ending corruption in Niles, but fast forward 5 decades and the mayor had to resign due to a corruption scandal involving insurance kickbacks, tax evasion, and mail fraud. Where would a list of Illinois communities be without a corruption scandal? It's pretty much a requirement, isn't it? Today, the village has 28,938 residents, with 40.8% of them coming from outside the U.S., so more than half of the households are bilingual. 55.7% of the households speak a language besides English. The demographic makeup is 19.8% Asian, 9% Hispanic, 3.2% black, and 65.7% white. Number 7. Buffalo Grove. Buffalo Grove is one of the most educated communities in the state of Illinois. The state high school graduation rate is 89.2%, and 34.7% of Illinoisans have a bachelor's degree. Compare that to Buffalo Grove, where the high school graduation rate is 97.7%, and 66.1% of the residents have earned a bachelor's degree. With the higher education attainment comes a higher income. The median household income for Buffalo Grove is more than twice that of the state's average, at $115,951, and the poverty rate is only 3.4%. Buffalo Grove has a population of 40,494, with 32.9% of those residents coming from another country, so 41.6% of the households speak a language besides English. The census data lists the demographic background of the residents as 21% Asian, 67.9% white, 6.8% Hispanic, and 1.6% black. Around 3% of the residents in Buffalo Grove came from Ukraine, and they also have a sizable Jewish population, with several synagogues in Buffalo Grove, as well as in the surrounding communities. Number 6. Glendale Heights. Glendale Heights is one of the newest communities in the state. When it became incorporated in 1959, there were just 104 people living there. Today, they have a population of 33,617. This is also the first entry on the list that is a minority-majority community. White people only account for 33.5% of the population. The remaining demographic makeup is 21.6% Asian, 31.8% Hispanic, and 8.5% Black. Over a third of the residents in Glendale Heights are foreign-born, so 53.4% of the households speak a language besides English. Number 5. Vernon Hills. Vernon Hills is also a relatively new community for Illinois. It was incorporated in 1968. At that time, they had 123 residents and 125 homes. They didn't have buildings for the police or other municipal departments, so they temporarily used a local motel for that. My question is, why didn't they use one of the empty homes as their office? Wouldn't that have made a little bit more sense? Anyway, today they have 26,521 people living there, including some team members of the Chicago Bears. That might be why homes are so expensive in this area. Housing costs are 161% higher than the state average, with the median home value being set at $348,900. Foreign-born residents make up 32.8% of the population. The demographic makeup of Vernon Hills is 23.6% Asian, 2.7% Black, 14.9% Hispanic, and 55.7% white. Number 4. Hoffman Estates. Yet another newer community, Hoffman Estates was the brainchild of a father-son construction team who named the town after themselves. Sam and Jack Hoffman started buying up land and building homes in the mid-1950s. Hoffman Estates was incorporated in 1959, and by the next year, they had over 8,000 residents. Today, they have 50,932, with 30% of those people coming from other countries. This community is home to a Chinese school as well as several Japanese companies, so the population is 24.2% Asian. The remaining population makeup is 50% white, 4.7% black, and 18.6% Hispanic. Number 3. Schaumburg. In most places, the shopping mall as we know it is dying, due to people switching to buying everything online. But in Schaumburg, that's not the case. They're home to the Woodfield Mall, which is the largest mall in the state of Illinois, with over 2 million square feet and 234 stores. It's a major tourist attraction that draws people from all over. In addition to tourists, Schaumburg also draws in residents from all over the world, with 31.6% of their residents originating from other countries. Out of the 72,887 residents, 25.5% are Asian, 4.2% are Black, 10.6% are Hispanic, and 57% are white. Number 2. Skokie. Skokie made national headlines in the late 1970s thanks to the unwanted influx of neo-Nazis to the city. At the time, the population of Skokie was more than half Jewish, including quite a few Holocaust survivors, so the National Socialist Party of America decided to hold a rally there and cause a disruption. The people of Skokie were against that happening, obviously, so it went to court. The case made it all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where it was ruled that the NSPA could hold their rally, however, they never actually got around to it. In addition to Jewish people, Skokie also has a significant number of Asian residents. 27.5% of the residents self-identified as Asian, 48.9% identify as white, 8% black, and 11.5% Hispanic. Number 1. Morton Grove. The area that is now Morton Grove first started attracting settlers way back in the 1830s, mainly from England and Germany. Today, they have many immigrants arriving from a variety of Asian countries, including the Philippines, Syria, Pakistan, and India. Asian groups account for 31.1% of the 22,796 residents, and 39% of the residents were born in another country. The remaining demographic makeup is 2.6% Black, 6.8% Hispanic, and 57% white. In addition to ethnic and cultural diversity, Morton Grove also has religious diversity. They have houses of worship from many different religions, including Islam, Judaism, Jehovah's Witnesses, as well as a variety of different Protestant Christianity denominations. I hope you liked this video and maybe learned something from it. If so, give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it on social media to help the channel. Speaking of social media, feel free to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Fair warning, I'm not all that entertaining on any of them, but I do reply to messages. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I remain stuck in the cornfield.